Welcome, Dr. Georgina Cannon.
You know, we've come together to explore this topic, death. Mm-hmm. Everybody wonders. Mm-hmm. What do you tell people?
From my point of view, and I believe yours, we understand that death is just the beginning of another phase. It's something that we move into that I call the interlife or life between lives. And the life between lives is when the soul goes home. And when clients do that, it is so awe-inspiring. Sometimes they just sit there and weep because they meet their soul circle, they meet the people that they have lost before, either in this life or in other lifetimes, and they get to understand their soul purpose, why they're here, the whole point of the journey, and then you plan what you're going to do next time. It's sort of fun, really. It's what you're going to do next time.
What about the people that say they've died and then they've come back, so they seem to remember a bit of this soul circle?
So you mean the near-death experiences?
Yes.
The people that
Yes.
die medically and then go into the light, they see the light,
Yes.
and then they hear a voice saying, no, not yet.
Yes.
Go back.
Yes.
And they come back really pissed. Am I allowed to say pissed? They come back really angry because it's so much nicer over there than it is here.
Yes.
Well, what happens is they have a job to do, and they haven't finished. They haven't completed their soul purpose.
Yes.
So they're given the boot back, and they're told, go do it, another dimension. They've opened the door. They've connected at a very starting level, very beginning level, but then they're sent back. They've got more to do here. And unfortunately, if we don't do what we're supposed to do in this lifetime, we have to come back again and do the same thing over again until we learn our lesson, because it's a soul evolution.
Yes.
It's a soul growth.
So we all have a higher dimension?
That's how we can connect. That's how we can people can connect with people who passed.
Yes.
That's how we can connect to the universal consciousness, where everything, all the information is. That's how we connect, because there's part of us still up there.
Georgina, what specifically, triggers the interlife and causes us to, make choices there? And is there anything that causes us to come back?
Well, we come back because there are lessons to learn, and we haven't finished. When we leave the life we were in a past life, we meet our guides, which is always interesting. We learn our soul name and our soul color, and what I call our soul thumbprint. I know there's no such a thing as a thumbprint when you don't have a body, but our soul perpetual pattern. Then you go and meet your guides who take you to your soul circle. The soul circle is, because we move in pods from lifetime to lifetime. Yes. So your soul circle are the people that move with you from this current life into another lifetime. And only 3 of them may come with you, or 2, or maybe all of them. And they all take different roles because they're all learning from each other. Again, we are one, right? We're not separated. And from there you may go to the laboratory where you learn to manage your energy differently, your psychic energy, your spiritual energy. And from there you may go to the library, the Akashic Records or the Book of Life. Yes. And if you've had previous really tough lifetimes, you may go to a place of recreation and rest. And then you go to the council, the wise elders, where you are greeted with unconditional love and respect and energy. This is where people cry, because there's a feeling of welcome, coming home, here you are, we've been waiting for you. This is where you can ask any question you want about, why can't I get along with my brother-in-law, to what is my life purpose, and everything in between. And they're always very kind, non-judgmental, and give you wisdom and answers to questions that often you never thought to ask. So it goes beyond our current knowing. And from there you go to the place of life choice, because you now have your soul purpose. So you then go to the place of life choice, and that's where you choose the body that you come in with. Yes. So you have a choice of bodies. Sometimes people try on 2 or 3 bodies. And
what do you mean by that?
Well, some people see it like TV screens. One of my clients saw it like, when you go into carpet stores and they've got carpets hanging up,
Yes.
And he was moving them, and he could see the body, he could choose, and then he stepped into them. So you can come in as a woman, a man, black, white, yellow, purple, whatever. Learned, simple.
So through a custom orders that each one of us are.
You can step into it and see if it feels right in that particular lifetime.
Yes.
And then you choose your parents, of course. And then you incarnate. Now, some people are having such a good time there, they don't want to come back. Yeah. And one man in particular, it was so funny. I said, this is only temporary. You have to come back because as you're living your current life, there's a lesson for it. So be prepared. He said, no, I'm not going. I'm staying here. And he suddenly went, oops. I said, what just happened? He said, my guide came up behind me and tipped me off the chair. Like he literally went like this, tipped him off the chair. So he came in as a baby. Yeah, yes. Yeah. So it's funny. So it's a process. Not everybody goes to every station. Some people go to 2. Some people go directly to the council. Yes. And then we come into this life as a brand new baby, having to relearn all of that again. And part of us remembers our soul purpose.
So this inner council that you were speaking of, that we meet in the inner life,
yeah,
can they help us in the now while we're still here?
Yes, once you've connected with them, and once you ask for help, it's really interesting. Most people forget that we do have guides, or some people call them angels, or your higher self, yes, or you, even our ancestral self, even that ancient wisdom that we carry within us. Most people don't even tap into that. They don't understand that it's all there for us. Mm-hmm. All we've got to do is to say, help, please, and be quiet and go inside and connect for higher good. I mean, you can't go in and say, what numbers should I put on this week's lottery? It's not a good idea. But certainly for higher good. Absolutely, it's always there.
So many of us have grown up with this idea of hellfire, hell. What is that? Does that exist?
Not in my version of the afterlife. Hell is really, from my point of view, an absence of light. And once light starts going into dark, it dissolves, it disappears. Dark can't go into light. Light has to go into dark. So in the interlife, in the space between lifetimes, there is no such thing. There's only light. I think we're getting more and more into the understanding that death is a transition, yes, rather than an ending. Yes. In fact, you see it and hear it all the time that so-and-so has transitioned over, And yes, of course, there's grief. And yes, of course, people feel the loss of a loved one. Yes. But it doesn't mean the love ends. Yes. It's just the loss of that physical being next to you. But it doesn't mean it's finished. It just means they've transitioned into the next level, the next space.
So are we communicating with them there with under hypnosis?
Frequently. Yes. People will say, I still feel him or her around me. Yes. Or my grandfather, I can feel my grandfather, I can smell his tobacco. Every now and then when I'm looking at a painting, or when I go so-and-so, I can feel my grandfather's, or I can smell my grandfather's tobacco. And it's real. I mean, it's not something they're making up, because it could be anything. They could be smelling anything. Yes. But that's specific. And there's no question that people who have transitioned do connect. Yeah. They connect. That's why we get ghosts.
This is like almost preparation for our understanding, and because there's such fear or whatever there is around finality.
It's the best part, because after they've done a few past life regressions, they lose fear of death. Because what you're frightened of. Yes. Because you're going to come back. Yes. You may not come back for a while. And the shortest turnaround that I've experienced and that I've read about is 18 months between the time of the dying, or what we call dying, and coming back as a new child. Mm-hmm. The longest can be hundreds of years.
What's the determinant of that?
The soul needs, the urgency of the soul need. Yeah. Or the determination of the soul circle that they need to bring back somebody. They need to bring them back to home.
So it's not just individual will, then there's also collective will.
It's collective will. And what it does is it really drives home that we are so much more than we seem.
And so much more interconnected.
So much more interconnected.
How does it work?
We're moving toward the one light. We all are splinters of God. And somehow, millennia ago, we got splintered off.
Yes.
Our goal is to always move back towards going home. So each lifetime, and remember, we're only talking about this planet.
Yes.
We're not talking about other planets. So imagine this going on everywhere.
Yes.
So in this planet, what we're doing is experiencing ways of taking ourselves higher towards the one light, towards the isness, or what you might call God, or whatever your name for God
Source.
is.
Yes.
Source. Yeah.
Yes.
So each time we go into the universal consciousness or the interlife,
Yes.
the collective wisdom of all of the souls that are there, the elders, decide what your next role is. So if you've had maybe 5 lives as a victim of some sort,
Yes.
and this particular life you're living right now, you're a victim yet again of your own making.
Yes.
You know, people do make themselves victims.
Yes.
They remind you that unless you do something about it, unless you become a hero in your current life, you're going to have to come back and be a victim again.
Wow. It's
I
a
mean,
real transformation that we're here to do.
It's huge. It's huge.
Each and every one of us.
Each and every one of us. People don't understand that everything we do, everything we say, every time I touch you,
Yes.
that touch is an energy exchange, and you take that onto something else. They don't understand that. They don't understand that everything is connected not only through voice, but through understanding. So if I think something strong enough and it happens, I think it's a coincidence. We don't understand that's how the world really works on this planet at this time.
Yes. In reviewing then past lives, are you able to help someone see their past lives? And
Oh, totally.
what value is of that to them in the present and changing, knowing that, you know, someone was, you know, Cleopatra or King George or you know, a peasant here.
Right.
And
I love that because what happens is people understand and get their patterns.
yes.
They suddenly realize the power they have. So when they come back, if they've been Cleopatra, which is highly unlikely, but if they come back having been through a series of processes where they have been helpers or assistants or magic people, or they've had a series of lives where they've been beheaded or their throat cut off or been at war, whatever, and they've learned not to open their mouth, they've learned to keep quiet about their opinions, that's why in this life they're frightened to voice an opinion. And they come back and they say, oh, that's why. Oh, okay. Now I understand. Now I need to understand and stand up and speak my truth. Because 80% of what we do today is what we did yesterday.
Yes.
So if all of our patterns are there, then and they're not good for us, then let's change them.
Why would a client come to you and what happens for them?
Well, they come because either they're curious. They went to Greece or they went to Edinburgh and they went into the castle or they went somewhere. And without having ever been there before, they just knew their way around.
Yes.
Or they bumped into somebody and they sort of, I know that person, yet they've never met. Or they'll come and say, I'm stuck. I'm stuck in my life. I can't seem to move forward. Or they'll come and say, how come I always choose losers? That's a big one. You know,
Yes.
How come I can never find a partner that's right for me? It must be a past life thing.
Yes.
Sometimes it is, but most often with something like that it isn't. It's just a pattern that they picked up. That's an easy thing along the way. But the reason they come is always to improve this life.
Yes.
So the process is, for me, is to find out why they're really here, why they are truly coming to see me. Let me put it that way.
Yes.
If it's something we can deal with in this life, something else. And I tell them that, but we can get to the past life later.
Yes.
I facilitate them into hypnosis. I get them to imagine being in hypnosis and to warn them that not everybody sees a past life like a movie.
Yes.
Some people do. Others just know. They have a knowing. So I might say to you, where are you? And you might say, I seem to be in a village market. I say, good, what do you see around you? I don't see it, I just know I'm here and I can sort of smell animals. So you might say that.
Yes.
So that's how you experience that process. And then we go from there to where do you live and what are you doing in that lifetime, go to an important event, when we
What
process.
about names and identity?
Oh, sometimes they get that. We had some very powerful name recovery. Sometimes if they're on board a ship and they're explorers working from Spain, I get the name of the ship, I get their name, and they go home and they look up the manifest and they look up the ship. And I did a series for the CBC on past lives.
Yes.
And they verified everything.
So there is really all these worlds for us to not just explore, but integrate, if we're called to.
That's great. Integrate. I like that. Yeah, integrate. Because that's who we are.
Yes.
We are so multidimensional. We're magnificent creatures. We really are.
How can that be used more constructively?
We can benefit from it by knowing that that's a part of us. That's the first benefit. So
Yet it's past.
it's past, but it's in our genes. It's in our cellular structure. It's in our energetic structure. So if in fact you were a slave driver, if in fact you were a slave owner and you were cruel,
Yes.
or a Gestapo guard and you were cruel, then understand that's part of you. And the kindness is also part of you. It helps you understand that everybody is everything.
Is there an intent if someone was particularly mean in another lifetime or cruel, then is there an intent or a contract almost to come back in, let's say, this lifetime and be particularly kind?
For some, if they've learned the lesson. But it's not karma. I mean, it's not literally you were bad, so now you're going to suffer. It's not like that at all. It's really all about choice. This is a planet of choice.
Yes.
So which piece of us we choose to use is the life we make. If enough of us raise the light, really focused on the light, we could change it.
And where is this light? Out there, or is it within each one of us?
It's within each one of us, but it's collective.
What does it mean when you say it's collective?
It means that we all have that light. It's just that some people have buried theirs under dust and noise. It's so powerful that sometimes when they're children it was shut down, but it's never gone. It's just gone down to a very slow burning ember. But it's always there. And if we can ignite the light in others, if we can help them flourish, if we can help them blossom, I don't know how else to put it, just glow, the whole energy will raise and it'll be a different planet.
What can the interlife and past life do to help us as a society individually? What can each citizen?
Well, if you remember that we are more than we seem, we make choices every minute of every day. If you remember that fear is a cop-out. You have a choice between courage or fear.
Yes.
You have a choice between light or dark. You get to choose.
When someone wanted to contact you, what are some of the benefits they can really look forward to?
Knowledge, wisdom, understanding of themselves, and an ability to say, I am amazing. I am multi-leveled. I'm good, I'm smart, I'm not so smart, I have been cruel, but I'm amazing, and I can do anything. Isn't that a gift to give yourself?
That is. And some people get that in one session, another it might be 10 or...
It's usually people get it in 1 or 2 sessions.
Yes.
Some people come back once or twice a year for 3 or 4 years because they treat themselves to it. It's like a mental spa,
Yes.
They come back. But most people come for 1 or 2 sessions to do the past life,
Yes.
and then they come for the interlife.
All this learning and awareness, thank you so very much, Georgina. And if anyone is wanting to reach you and contact you on the screen, you will find Georgina and all your contact information.
Thank you.
And explore.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.